Have you always wanted to play a Destruction Warlock, but maybe find it a little bit too complex or just hard to manage? Well, then I got the solution for you. In this video here, I will show you how you can min-max the Destruction Warlock with the single button assistant. So, tag along in case you want to have a little bit more enjoyable time playing Destruction Warlock. And yeah, let's go. So, let's start talking about stats. First of all, what I always recommend is the highest amount of intellect/eye level. What I mean by that is you can see here I have a build which is a champion upgrade level. I would only ever replace it if I got another champion build which has better secondary stats or a higher upgrade level. So for example, you have the adventure, you have the veteran, then the champion, then the hero, and then the mythic items. So I would never go down to any one upgrade level lower because it's simply going to give me too little of intellect. Like it's just going to give me less of my main stat. But if I got another champion one which has better secondary stats, I would go for it. And if it's ever a higher upgrade level than the one I have right now, I would always take it. Of course, when it comes to trinkets and rings, it can be a little bit off topic because, you know, those don't have really intellect. So, of course, those you might want to like look at the secondary stats, perhaps. But keep the high eye levels because it's still going to show that eye level when people see you through the looking for group system. But I didn't tell you that. So, let's talk about the secondary stats. First of all, as a Destruction Warlock, and especially one with the single button assistant, we love haste. Haste makes your spell cast faster, it reduces your global cooldown, it makes damage over time ability takes more often. You know, it just makes the entire rotation, the flow, just so much more smoother. In case you have abilities which has like a green rotate, like what is it called? Green cooldown. You can see here the green cooldown here. Green cooldowns means that the cooldown is reduced by haste. Destruction Warlock doesn't have many, as you can see here. I was just double checking, but we actually don't have that many spells that has a green cooldown. But still, all haste is fantastic, and we really love haste. Secondly, we have mastery. Mastery and critical strike actually are, I would say, almost like the same equal because the critical strike and mastery are so important. But let me just talk about mastery. Mastery, very easy. Mastery increases your damage, so your spells deal 21% increased damage, plus a random amount up to 21 additional increased damage. So basically it increases your spell damage, but it also has a random effect on your spell damage, which is pretty cool. But then you have Critical Strike. Critical Strike is an interesting thing for Destruction Warlock because it of course makes all your spells have a higher chance to do double damage. You know, whenever you do crit, you do like double damage, double healing. We have tons, like if you see here, if I search in crit, we have tons of talents which get increased by crit. You know, we're going to deal more crit damage, and more damage, and blah, 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 blah. We have so many talents that increases the spell's crit damage based on how much crit you have and so on. Also, for example, you have important spells like Chaos Ball, which is one of your, like, the most damage ability you have, like one of the best spells you have. Damage is further increased by your critical strike chance. So, you know, even though that Chaos Bolt is always a critical strike, it still increases its damage the more crit you have. So crit is like, it's really good. So both mastery and crit is like super solid stats. So, you know, if you get an item that has haste and you have, you know, one of them have mastery, one of them have crit, pick the one you prefer. Like, you know, both of them is going to work finely. But always try to, like, you know, get some haste. Really get some haste on those items. Then we have versatility. Versatility is just flat out increasing your damage, and it also reduces the damage you take. If you're someone who really loves to do a lot of solo content like delves and so on, then versatility can be great because it like increases your survivability, because it makes you more tankier. But beside of that, yeah, of course, if you also play player versus player PvP, then all the items you get from there is going to have versatility unless you upgrade them to tier pieces. But that's also because you get, you know, you kind of want to have versatility in PvP because, you know, it makes you way more tanky and so on. So also if you like to do open world PvP and do some kind of PvP activities, then I recommend having some versatility. But yeah, let's move on. All right, when it comes to talents, We are using Hellcaller for our dungeon/delve leveling build, and we are using Diabolist when it comes to raid build. Technically, right now on meta paper, on every website where they recommend specs, they're saying Diabolist is just having more single target damage when it comes to 1 to 2 mobs, usually mostly on 1 mob. Then this hero tree talent here is just Omega. When it comes to more than 2 mobs, just basically any cleave mechanics, trash mobs and so on, then Hellcaller is a clear winner. So that's like, just to break it down, we use, and technically the playstyle in both of them is very much the same. The only difference really is that in the raid build we're using Soulfire, which is a single, like a cast, like it's a single target cast spell that you use that has a 45-second cooldown. And in the dungeon build we are using Cataclysm, which has a 30-second, which makes a big AoE, makes the ground with basically putting lava on the floor for like a couple of seconds. And it also applies your Wither debuff, which is replacing Immolate, to all the targeted hits. So basically Hellcaller is our dungeon build where we focus on a lot of AoE damage, and the raid build is our very strong single target build, which focus a lot on single target. Everything in the left side here, I have customized it a little bit. The dungeon and raid build is using very closely the same in the left side. The only difference is that in the dungeon build we have a Howl of Terror. We also have that curses goes to multiple targets at the same time, and then we have 2 different defensives here. But in the meta builds, they really like to use like Swift Artify. They also like to use Blight Tongue, which of course you can take if you want. But I really like survivability. I want to be a little bit more tanky when it comes to any playstyle. So I have made sure that we have everything here that increases our healing by drain life, heals our pet, gives more healing to ourselves, just really helping us stay alive whenever we need to. So that's what I like with, these builds here. Everything in the right side is very meta. It's basically the talents that WoW Hit, Icy Veins is recommending. I know they know what they're talking about. So, and I have tested the rotation. Everything works perfectly with single button assistant. So both the raid build here and the dungeon build, everything on the right side is pretty much the meta. That is the meta. On the left side though, that is customized by me because I like survivability. So when using my builds, left side is customized so basically you can stay alive and be very strong. And then on the right side is very much the meta build, because that is just the one that deals most damage. That's just it. I cannot just invent something that deals more damage than it. This is just the meta builds that deals the most damage. That's it. I have though changed this one here from Rainfire, where you selected the ground where it should go, to the one that actually targets your target, because sometimes the other one can trigger, make your single button assistant a little bit weird. But just saying. So the main difference between the dungeon build and raid build when it comes to the right side is the dungeon build is using Cataclysm. Also, so Cataclysm deals additional damage over 8 seconds. Also, so Incinerate reaches more people. Also, that our Rain of Fire deals more damage, and also when Rain of Fire can reduce the cost of your next Rain of Fire. That is like the main thing that we have, like this AoE things here. We are also using Mayhem, which randomly can make your target get a havoc over them, so whenever you cast a spell on some target, it will also apply cast spells on the other targets. So that is the main thing we're using in the dungeon build. In the raid build, it's a bit different here. Then we are focusing more on single target spells, like because it's basically a raid single target boss. So more Mastery, more damage to Cast Ball, Shadow Burn, and Incinerate. If the target has Immolate on, also increase the damage of your fire spells by 2 and reduce the cast time of Incinerate. And also, what was it else over here? We also have Incinerate and Cast Ball damage is increased by 5. Cast Ball now has a 25 chance to make your next Incinerate instant cast. And then, of course, we are using Soulfire, which is such a strong single target spell. Basically, you're just giving 50k damage in the head of the boss. Boom. And Also, it summons now this Overfiend, whatever it is, and it's going to be casting a lot of Chaos Balls, which deals a lot of damage. It's going to give you soul shards, and it's just like a great little 45-second cooldown. And all of this is inside the single button system. So again, that is like the main difference, that we have the very much like single target build, and we have this, and the raid build is, that's the raid build, and the dungeon build is more like a multiple target spell. Don't have to think too much about it. And just to end the talents, we also have the new Apex talent here. It's quite funny. When you cast Incinerate, it has a chance to evoke the echo of the Dark Titan's power. Basically what happens is a very strong like Shadow Flame attack is going to be thrown down that deals 3000 damage and 2800 Shadow Flame damage to all enemies within 10 yards. Then you might think, okay, but that's very single target focused. Well. It also increases your critical strike by 8% and haste by 8% for 6 seconds. And now, when you have the last one here, which we of course have in this one here, casting Chaos Ball, Shadowburn, or Rain of Fire evokes an echo of the Dark Titan power at 50, 50, or 60 effectiveness, respectively. If no target is found, a random target suffering from your wither will be selected. So basically now, Chaos Ball, Shadowburn, and Rainfire, which also, Rainfire is for example the one we use in multiple target, like AoE, instead of Chaos Ball. So now when you use that one, it's also going to summon this Echo of Echo of Sagaros or Echo of the Dark Titans. It's basically going to rain down with more explosions, which is great. So we like that one, so we're definitely picking that one. But that's the talents. Like, I know it's a short section of the talents, but that's the main thing. Like, we have an AoE build, we have a single target build, deals great damage, and it works perfectly with the single button assistant. You can, of course, also use these talents without a single button assistant. It will still deal insane amount of damage. When it comes to rotation, it's actually super simple. The Affliction Warlock has to think about a little bit of things. The Demonology Warlock has to think about some stuff. So if you want a spec that is the easiest to play with single button assistant when it comes to Warlocks, Destruction Warlock is just the winner. It is so goddamn simple. Like, it's so simple. So basically, we have our number one here, which is the one we're going to be spamming. It's going to be using the single button assistant, and it will be spamming Cataclysm, Cast Ball, Confragate, Incinerate, Malevolence. Malevolence is a cooldown we only have in Hellcaller, and we don't have it over in Diabolist. I hope it's said right. Beside of that, it also uses Rain of Fire, Shadowburn, and it will also summon your pet if you don't have one, and it's also going to use a Wither, which is the damage over time ability in Hellcaller, and the spell is called Immolate in the Diabolist. Also, in the raid build, it will also be using Soulfire. So in the AoE build, which is the dungeon build, it will be using Cataclysm. In the single target build, it will be using Soulfire. So you don't have to worry about that at all. So very, very nice. Beside of that, we also have the cooldown called Summon Infernal. Summoning Infernal is a cooldown that basically summons down an Infernal. It deals damage attacking. It has an aura on it, like a Immolate shield, like the Demon Hunter, that deals damage to everyone. And we have the talents here, which is super great, Reign of Chaos. While your initial Infernal is active, every soul shard you spend has a 50% chance to summon an additional Infernal that lasts 8 seconds. Technically, a lot of people, they like to use Infernal in the opener. So, for example, if you play the raid build, what most people do is that if you know the tank is about to pull the boss in 2 seconds, you would pre-cast Soulfire, which of course the single button assistant would probably do sometimes if it actually picks to do it. But it's always great to like pre-cast Soulfire if the single button actually chooses to do that. But that, like, we would start with Soulfire, and then we would drop this Infernal right after, because after that you're going to be spamming a lot of like soul shards. It's in the start of the rotation, you're going to have 3 soul shards ready. That means we will have a big chance to summon additional Infernal. So you kind of want to use Infernal, and then you don't want to use Infernal when you have 0 soul shards, because then it's going to be wasting the time it's going to be there, even though it's going to be there for 30 seconds. So, it's not going to be over soon, but you like to have some, some Infernal. So in this case here, like this mob here, well, since we are in the dungeon build, let's take the multiple target first then. So what you would be doing here is that you would start out, it's going to be using Cataclysm. So I would start using my Cataclysm, and right after I'm going to use my Infernal, And now I'm just going to be using the single button assistant, and it will automatically try summon as many Rain of Fire as possible. And every single time it uses a Rain of Fire, it has a chance to summon Infernals, like, which is pretty great. So you have your Infernal there, it deals tons of damage. You have your single button rotation now, keeps summoning Rain of Fire. And you can see my rotation down here in the right corner, that it just keeps going. Like, it's switching between using Rain of Fire, Conflagrate, Incinerate, Rain of Fire, and so on. All the mobs you have here is automatically going to have a Wither on them, which comes from Cataclysm. Cataclysm gives them all. Plus we have this talent here. Conflagrate now erupts the target Wither, spreading it to 3 nerby enemies. So Cataclysm keeps spreading your Wither to everyone, and your Conflagrate keeps spreading. So, because some people might think, oh, I need to, like, you know, click on all the different mobs and apply Wither to them. No. Every time you use Conflagrate, it will, if the target already has a Wither on them, then it will split them out automatically. So you basically have 2 spells that keeps, like, splitting out Wither. But that is technically the AoE rotation. Use your Cataclysm, get some good start with some, you know, Cataclysm is dealing a lot of damage. It's going to leave a lava pool on the ground. It's going to give them all Wither, which is amazing. And then, yeah, it's, you know, big damage all the time, Wither, nice. Then you use your Summon Infernal, and now your single button rotation is ready to spam Rain of Fire and summon a lot of Infernals for you. Nice. So when it comes to the raid build and single target, if you really want to min-max and squeeze out that single button damage, the single button is going to recommend using Immolate, which is actually quite dumb, because you want to use a Soulfire on the pull. Soulfire is actually applying Immolate. I understand why the single button assistant is not going to, you know, use Soulfire as the first thing, because, you know, in the most scenario, like if you're just running around questing and so on, it would be annoying just to keep casting Soulfire, which is a slow spell. But if you really want to, like, squeeze out that extra damage, when you know the count, like, you know, usually when a raid is starting and the pull, like the tank is about to pull the boss, he will do like a 10-second countdown. When you can see that's like 2 seconds back, then start pre-casting Soulfire, since it has like a 2.6, you know, cast time. Of course, if you see the tank is not pulling, then, you know, wait. But usually that's like what you want to do. You don't want to start using Soulfire as the first thing, so that's why I have it here on my S3 here, Shift 3. I don't want to have it down here because you're never going to be using it inside the combat itself. It's going to be using that for you, so you don't have to worry about it in combat. It's just at the start of the combat. So what I want to do is, if I want to start the combat, I'm basically going to start my Soulfire. You know, the tank is just about to pull, so now I'm going to be using my Soulfire. And then now, right after the Soulfire, I would technically be using the Summon Infernal, and now spamming my single button assistant. And now it's going to be spamming a lot of Chaos Balls, which is great, because the Chaos Balls is basically going to, you know, every time we use Chaos Ball, there's a chance we summon you know, additionally Infernals. You can see we already have 3 Infernals going on right now, which is a blast. So the single button assistant is going to be casting Incinerate, Immolate, Conflagrate, a few times Shadowburn, and Chaos Balls. That's basically it. And whenever your Summon Infernal is ready, if the boss is still alive, you know, just throw it down ASAP when it's ready. And you don't have to worry about Soulfire anymore, because it's going to automatically use Soulfire. As you can see now, boom, Soulfire. So you don't have to worry about Soulfire. Soulfire is only something you have to worry about when we are going to pre-pull, because it's going to be using Immolate and then Soulfire, which makes no sense since Soulfire actually applies Immolate. So that would be my recommendation. On pre-pulls, just about to pull the boss, you know, maybe give the tank a 1 second time to, like, have the aggro, because you're still going to be dealing like almost 50 to 100k damage, which could take aggro. So, you know, Soulfire on pre-pull, spams then right after Summon Infernal, and then spam single button assistant, and you're good to go. Like, that's it. And that's why I'm saying this build is so much easier than the Demonology and the Affliction one, because Demonology and Affliction is also super easy when it comes to single target, but AoE wise, they just have a little few things they need to think about additionally. But yeah, Destruction's super fun, and the damage loss when using single button assistant is almost like, it's so small. Like, because the single button assistant delays the time between your spells' global cooldown, but when you actually are casting spells that are longer than 1.6 to 1.8 seconds, it doesn't matter the global cooldown, and then it's the same. So you get punished when you use instant cast spell, but when you cast spells like, a cast bolt, it's almost like nothing. And especially the Soulfire, you don't even, that doesn't count at all with the single button assistant, because it has longer time than the global cooldown is ready. So yeah, just saying, Destruction Warlock is a really, really great single button build. Besides that, we of course have Drain Life. If you are in a situation where you're about to die, then you can use Drain Life. It's going to heal you for insane amount of healing, because we have all these talents here. And it's also healing your pet for insane amount. We also get healed passively all the time from Soul Leech. Then you also have Soul Burn. It's a spell that can even make some of your spells improved. So for example, it can make so your Drain Life gives you a shield as well when it actually heals. It can also give you, what is it, like here you can see you can make an instant portal quickly. It also makes that if you use the teleport spell, you move faster, and you can also use it so it heals more for your health stones. Then we have Spell Lock. If you're using the Fell Hunter, this spell here is a spell lock. If you're using the Imp, it's like I think it removes a curse or some kind of like a friendly thing you can remove on your friends. Like it removes a curse or magic effects or something like that. Then on number 6, we have Curse of Exhaustion, makes the target move 50% slower. Then we have Curse of Weakness. If you are in the dungeon build, inside the dungeon build, again, I'm in combat. If you are in the dungeon build, we are using this Foul Mouth talent. So when you actually use your curses, which either are Curse of Weakness, Curse of Tongue, or Curse of Exhaustion, then it actually curses everyone in 10 yards. The reason for why we have that in the dungeon build is so you don't have to click on 5 targets to curse them, but you could just click on one target and it will curse everyone around it. In the dungeon build, we also have this one here called Curse of Satyr, which is both increasing the time between the attacks and the cast time. So basically, Curse of Satyr here, click on the middle target, boom, now they all have Curse of Satyr, now they all deal damage slower and cast slower, which is insane. But yeah, really, really nice. Beside of that, we have here Healthstone. So you have your summon Create Healthstone spell. If you use Create Healthstone, it will basically give you a Healthstone that you can use for healing. And if you are in a dungeon or raid, then you need to use the one called Create Soul Whirl. So everyone in your party can actually get a Soul Stone from you. This is one of the main benefits of having a Warlock in your team, because you get an extra little healing for everyone, which is nice. We also have Dark Pact. It sacrifices in the dungeon build. We are having this one here where it only sacrifices 5% of your HP. In the raid build, we're taking the one where it has a lower cooldown, so you can use it more often. But if you use a Dark Pact, it's going to sacrifice some of your HP and give you a huge shield, like a really, really big shield. We also have Unending Resolve. Basically, make sure you take 40% less damage for 8 seconds and make you immune for interrupts, silence, and pushbacks. Then we also have Fell Domination. In case one of your pets die, you can click, your one pet dies, you can use Fell Domination and very quickly summon back your pet. Very nice. Then we have our crowd control spells. So first of all, if you see one of the mobs casting a spell you don't want them to cast, then first of all, we of course have our Spell Lock. If you have the Fell Hunter pet active, you can use Spell Lock and it will interrupt the target so it doesn't cast a spell anymore. If then it casts a spell again and you have your Spell Lock on cooldown, you can use Mortal Coil and it will make them run around for 3 seconds but stop them casting. It also heals you for 25% of your HP in case you need healing. Also a great healing spell. Then in case all these mobs here are all casting a spell at the same time and you want to interrupt them all, you can use Howl of Terror, which makes them all stop casting. But it basically fears them all, but also very, very powerful spell. Then we have Fear. In case you just want to make one of the targets, run around in circle for 1 minute, then you can use Fear. And now this target here is going to run around in circle for 1 minute until someone gives a little bit of damage to it. In case you need to move out of fire, we also have this one here called Burning Rush, so you move faster, but it will also drain your HP at the same time. It actually deals quite a lot of damage, but it makes you move so faster. If before I pull, for example, a boss, you know that it's going to be sometime casting fire here, but not fire over there, you can also use your Demon Circle, and then whenever you move away from it, you can then use your Demon Circle teleport, and it teleports you back to the circle. Very nice. Then we also have Demonic Gateway. This is another benefit of having a Warlock in the group. You make a portal, everyone can click on this portal to, jump to another place like this, but it has a 90-second cooldown. And yeah, then we have the Helpstone, the Soul Well. Then we also have Soulstone, which you can either apply to someone, like you can click on yourself and apply it. And then if you die in the next 15 minutes, you can basically just say yes to resurrect. So you die, you can just resurrect the same place you died. But in a raid, you don't want to precast it on someone. You want to save it. Because then if someone dies, you can click on them dead, while they're dead, you can click on them, and then you can actually use it on them while they're dead, and it will resurrect them directly. So you don't want to precast it because you don't know who's going to be, dying first. So you want to wait with it and resurrect whoever dies first. It's the same as the Druid spell and the Paladin one where you combat risk, but yours are a little bit more powerful, I would say. Then we have Summon Pets. Summon Pets is a bit... You don't really need it because the single button assistant kind of controls who you cast, but I have noticed that if you summon the Imp or the Fell Hunter, it's happy, like it doesn't want to like interrupt you. Like you can see, it doesn't force me to go using... Before it was always like Fell Hunter, but now at least the single button assistant accept both Fell Hunter and Imp. But some of the pets, sometimes it doesn't get happy about, like the succubus. It doesn't like it sometimes want to force you away from it. The Void Walker seems also now to be happy for it, but yeah. But there is a lot of times, sometimes it will force you maybe to, use Fell Hunter or Imp in different dungeons or raids, but yeah. So that's the rotation. Let's see how this actually looks like in real life. So you can see we're testing the damage here. You can see the damage meter down here in the left corner. We're just going to pull a little bit extra mobs for the tank. I'm sure the tank doesn't mind that. There we go. Now we're going to click on a target. We're going to be using our Cataclysm to get out that AoE, Summon Infernal. And we're going to be spamming one. And then now it's going to be spamming Rain of Fire. And straight ahead, you're going to be seeing I'm going to be the one who deals most damage. We have 100k DPS right now. 100k DPS. Jesus. And I have the most shitty gear on this Warlock here. But you can see the damage is crazy. Like in no seconds we became the #1 damage, and usually when I do this test here on my Demo Warlock or Affliction Warlock, it goes a little bit slow in the start and then it does okay damage, but this is crazy AoE damage when it, like, I know it's a follower dungeon, but the followers, they kind of like they scale up to you, if you know what I mean. That's well for my testers, but still, like, that is so fast damage. Like you can see the damage came from Wither and it came from Rain of Fire, and this is why Wither, the Hellcaller talent, is such a great AoE talent, like such a great one. So keep in mind on that first pull, I think we were just really lucky with all the stacks and everything that procced really good. Because then on my other pulls, you can see then I did 45k DPS with the second one. Then I had another one here. It was kind of like a little bit random depending on my procs. But also I was like always letting them attack before me because I was just running around and cursing up. But now, let's see how much damage we're going to be doing on this one. We're going to be in the AoE build. We're basically in the dungeon build, which of course is not suited for single target. But still, I mean, we have to be in this build here, because you can, in the Mythic dungeon, you can't just like in the middle of, the battle, change build. So we're going to try with this build here and see how it goes on a boss fight. Let's see. We got the damage meter here. For some reason, the tank don't want to pull, but I guess I'm just going to be pulling. So using a Cataclysm, using my Infernal. Of course, it runs out of... It's a bit annoying that it didn't aggro for me, because now it run out of the lava on the ground, but that's just how it is. But yeah, we're just going to be spamming one. Use my Cataclysm, which of course in the single target build would be Soulfire first. Then we're going to be using Summon Infernal. And yeah, could we have a lot of single, like instant cast spells, so we can actually move while casting? Ah, goddammit, I didn't think I would be hit by that. There we go. So far, damage-wise, it's not, of course, the highest DPS, but I also got really trash gear on this Warlock here. But still, we are almost winning. Why is it me that keep, like, it's almost like because they are followers, they don't get mechanics on them. You evil boss. Ah, the Fire Mage is starting to get in on us. He actually is on us. And again, it's me. Why is it only me? Is it because I'm the only person in here? Oh, this is so unfair. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, quite easy rotation. We're spamming one. We're using Summon Infernal. that we need. Oh my, why is there like 4 hurricanes on me, but none of them? Well, it looks like we lost to this fire mage here. He's probably also in a single target build. But still, I mean, looking at my my crappy gear, I still think it was a success on the damage we did. But we can see here definitely most of the damage came from Castball, Wither, Conflagrate, Incinerate, and Shadowburn, and some of the random procs for Echo of Sagaras. But yeah, but again, we have our single target build, we got our dungeon build, which of course is going to deal most damage to all the trash mobs and so on. But great fun. So thank you so much for watching this video here. I hope it was helpful and kind of gave you a little understanding on Destruction Warlock, especially when using the single button rotation. I really enjoy it. I find it fun, exciting, and very relaxing to play with. So yeah, thanks for joining. I have made I think this is my number 15 video guide for the single button resistant in Midnight. So you feel welcome to find the link in the description for the playlist for the other builds. And on my Discord, I think we have like something between 25 builds for a lot of different classes and specs in case you want to try another spec with single button assistant. But yeah, go to my Discord in case you want to find all my talents, all my builds, and so on. Like they're all on my Discord. Every talent string is all there. And in case you want to support the channel, if you enjoy the video, you feel free to subscribe or even become a YouTube member and get your name at the end of the video. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.